Hello and welcome back to the Whiskey Chicks podcast. I'm Susie,
And I'm Amy.
and we're here to talk about Whiskey Chick, the Whiskey Chick of the day, which for those of you that don't know, a Whiskey Chick is a word that our Nana used to define nothing, a thingamajig, a what's it. It was a Whiskey Chick. And we have dedicated this podcast to her, and so you're going to be hearing us talk about the most random things on the planet, but hopefully quite relatable. So welcome.
Welcome to the Whiskey Chick du jour.
De jour.
Du jour.
Oh, that's a good segue. The whiskey. Oh my God, Elmer Fudd. Who invites him? He was in the last recording.
Mercury
No,
retrograde.
he can't be a repeat guest yet. Yeah, let's just call Mercury retrograde Elmer Fudd. Anyway, the Whiskey Chick du jour. We're gonna talk about flying on airplanes. Now, if that ain't random, I don't know what is, but we're just going to talk about all things involved on flying on airplanes. And I don't think you are, Amy, but I know I am. I'm a nervous flyer.
Yeah, I'm not.
Like, I actually don't hate many things in life, but there's two things I hate. Our current government in the United States and flying. I hate option A more than B, but as we haven't said in a while, that's a whole other podcast, maybe.
Oh my God, I forgot about that phrase.
Yeah, I know. We're slacking.
Whoa.
But anyway, you have flown way more than I have in life, and you are way more zen about flying. And but I am someone that I don't get on an airplane unless I absolutely have to. And because there's no other way for me to get to where I'm going. Otherwise, I would drive or take a train. But I absolutely hate flying, and there's many reasons why. Most of it is just because I am convinced that every time I get on a plane, it's going to fall out of the sky while I'm on it.
Such a great attitude.
I know.
See, me I fly a ton for work and whatnot, but for me, I'm always like, I'm going up with the angels. I don't say I'm falling out of the sky today. I'm going up with the angels. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't find much comfort in, the last year or two. There's been a lot of aviation incidents. I mean, those have certainly ramped up, but I'm the person that, when I look out at the wings and they're bouncing, I'm like, oh man, they're just going to snap off. They're going. That's it.
They're
wings
meant to bounce.
And we're gone. We're going to go. Well, it's funny. So this is a true story. Years ago when I worked at Trader Joe's, because we're so close to the airport in Portland here, there was a pilot for Alaska Airlines that would come through when I was on register a lot. And we would have these brief and fleeting conversations. And we had this one conversation where I was like, I'm always afraid the wings are going to fall. Because he's like, what's the one thing that scares you? I'm like, the turbulence. Because I look at the wings and they're bouncing, bounce, 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 bounce. And he goes, do me a favor. He goes, go on YouTube and look at the Boeing wing test. And I was like, okay. And this was back when YouTube wasn't a thing. This was back in 2010, way back when. So anyway, I go and I look at the Boeing wing test, and it's essentially this huge Boeing aircraft in this huge hangar or whatever. And the plane is enclosed in this plexiglass, and there's all these people standing on the safe side of it, and then these wire cables lift the tips of the wings up. And it's not until the wings are at a 90-degree angle that they snap at the armpit. And I said, okay, well, nothing in the sky is ever going to make the wing do that.
No.
So yes, the plane is meant to move. It's not meant to just, I get that, but it's the visual for me. It's the people bouncing. It's the wings bouncing. I'm like, here comes my imminent death. That's just how I feel.
I know, it's just turbulence is like driving on a bumpy road for an airplane. That's all it is you're on a bumpy road. So,
Yeah, like 38,000 feet.
well, but I'm never
I
going to
know.
convince you. But for all of our listeners, it is that is air is bumpy like a road, and the airplanes are 99.9% of the time equipped to handle bumpy roads. And I mean, have there been some incidences where the planes like dropped? Yes, but it's still probably one of the safest modes of transportation out there. It's way safer than driving the freeways, especially here in LA. But it's there are far more car accidents than there are plane incidents. So, but I've always enjoyed flying. I like it. I love looking out the windows and being above the clouds, and I it doesn't bother me. I mean, the turbulence, you know, turbulence is uncomfortable. It always is. That kind of goes through your mind, but that whole, plane's going to fall thing. But I immediately just take a deep breath and be like, spirit's got me. If it's my time,
I
it's my
have
time.
gotten I have gotten better about it. But
Yeah.
it's still,
Especially
and
especially if the plane's taking you to Amsterdam, then you're way better about it.
that's true. Yeah. I mean, I just got back. I just got back a few weeks ago from visiting our friends and family in Europe, and we fly in and out of Amsterdam. We have a direct flight from here, so it's really convenient. But anyway, I threw down this trip for the fancy class with like the lie down seat and the
You
whatever
flew
the 5 course
fancy.
meal, which I flew my ass flew fancy ass flat seat is what I had. But and I have to admit it solved a lot of my anxiety issues simply because I didn't feel like I was cram jammed with a bunch of people. Like I felt like more isolated, like in my own little pod situation. And I mean it's expensive, but like I think worth it if you're a nervous flyer to throw down for the first class. Not only that, you're forward of. I understand like if you sit on the wing or forward. I guess when I just learned this like this last week. Like when the plane hits turbulence, it will actually like nose and tail like up and down. So if you're more toward the center of the plane, you feel less of that. You'll still feel the
Yeah, because you're
bumps,
kind
but
of at
like if
that
there's
pivot point.
like pivot point. Yeah. So, but I did. I mean, talk about the angels being with you. My both flights to and from Europe, not once did the seatbelt sign come on, even though there were bumps, and I was just like, "Oh, thank you," because I just like, oh God, I can't stand, and it pisses me off that it makes me anxious because like even when there's gnarly turbulence, all the flight attendants and everyone's just like, oh, whatever, I'm just like, we're gonna die.
Well, when
Don't you
it's going to
people feel
be
the plane shaking?
when it's going to be bad when the pilot comes on and says, "I've asked the flight attendants to take their seats and stay buckled in, and not start service yet." And you're like, because you see them perform the service even with bumps. I mean, they're in the aisle with the cart and whatnot. But so when the pilot says, "I've asked the flight attendants to take their seat," and you're like, "Oh dear, it really is going to get bumpy," So just take a deep breath and prepare yourself, and that's where Disney Solitaire on my phone helps. But but I had a flight not too long ago. Where was I coming from? I think I was coming back from Ohio. But we took off out of Atlanta. I had to connect in Atlanta. We took off out of Atlanta, and I had like it's like a 4.5 hour flight coming back towards Southern California because you don't have tailwinds. And for the first 2.5 hours, I think we were finally 2.5, maybe close to 3 hours into the flight. The pilots gave the attendants the permission to get up and start service. It was bumpy for that long, nonstop. And so I was just like, oh, okay, I'm just going to deal with this. And then the flight attendants got up and they were just throwing little tiny plastic water bottles at everybody and crackers and chips and shit. because they didn't have time to right. They didn't have time to do anything.
Heads up, 7-Up, woo!
But yeah, I mean, I've had my share, but it's all good in the end. It's all good. So,
then there's the other thing for me, and I know I'm certainly not alone with this, is I'm a peer. I am a peer on an airplane. Like I never sit next to the window if I'm flying alone and not in fancy class, or flying with you in a 2-2 situation. Cause like if I don't have access to pop that seatbelt and have my way to go to the bathroom.
Yep. No, that's if I'm not in an aisle seat, I get nervous actually, because I know I'm going to have to pee and I don't want to wake people up. I don't want to crawl over people, Oh, me too. We're both peers.
But I'm the person that's like sitting. I'm the person that's like sitting in the seat, and I'm like, oh man, I should probably pee. And then like I go to undo my seatbelt, and someone walks by me to the bathroom, and I'm like, damn it! And then like I have to wait, and then the plane like starts to bounce a little bit, and I'm like, oh man, now the bladder's going with the bouncing. And then like the person comes back, and then I go to do it again, and another person. I'm like, damn it, someone's beating me to it. And then like I'm just waiting. I'm sitting there waiting while we're bouncing, and I'm waiting my turn for the bathroom for that boom. And they're gonna be like, "Now, please get in your seat and fasten your seatbelt." And I'm like, "Not until I pee, bro. I gotta pee." That bouncing makes me have to pee. Like being sitting in an airplane seat, it's nerves. It's a lot of subconscious stuff, but. That was another thing about the fancy class that eased my anxiety. Is I was like 5 steps from the bathroom, and there were 2 bathrooms for 35 seats. Like that's a lot of bathrooms for an airplane for 35 people, and the cabin wasn't even full. So that, I don't know, it made for really. It wasn't even about the food or the lounge or anything like that. It was about how I was seated and what that felt like. And how the peacefulness. There's no crying children. There's no offense to people that have kids. I feel so bad for people that fly with children. Those little babies don't understand what's happening to them.
They don't. Their ears drive crazy with ascending and descending, and that's a lot of times what makes them fussy is their ears.
Yeah, they're not going to be like, oh wait, let me just pop my ears. They're just going to cry, and I feel.
Hey ma, give me a piece of gum.
I'm like, shut up, but I feel bad for you, but shut up. I know. Can you tell I've never had children? But anyway, I just like some of these experiences on planes. I mean, and they run decades. I'm sure everybody listening is relating to a lot of what you're saying right now. But I mean, I have never personally been in any sort of emergency situation, thank goodness, and except once. It wasn't an emergency, but it was almost an emergency for the woman sitting next to me because I almost killed her. And this was, again, years ago. I don't know if anybody out there remembers Northwest Airlines. They used to exist.
Oh my God.
And when I was living in Boston, when I was living in Boston, it was really easy for me just to hop over to Europe. And when I was in Amsterdam waiting to come back, this was probably like in the mid 90s. When I was waiting to come back at the airport in Amsterdam, something was going on with the like the airflow air conditioning system at the gate. And so we weren't plugged into it. And so we were delayed. And so the airplane started to get like really, 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 really stuffy.
Yeah, I hate that.
And the woman sitting next to me, she was somewhere from I don't know, I think she was from India. I'm pretty sure she was from India. But she took her shoes off. She took her shoes off, and then the smell hit the crowd.
I know. Was there a Limburger cheese situation?
It was bad. It was because she was wearing like these little plastic sandals.
Oh.
And she just popped those bad boys off. And I was just like, oh, wow. And I'm not saying this was because of her feet, but the flight crew actually ended up opening all the emergency doors while we were staying at the gate, just so we weren't all suffocating. And then what blew me away is later in the flight, they came through and served us food. And then the same lady, the foot lady, the stinky foot lady, she asked for a second meal. I've never seen that. I'm like, who's like, God, that was delicious. Can I have a second helping? I thought that was I was blown away by that.
That was back when they actually just served you food. You didn't have to pay for it. You didn't have to pay for a box lunch or whatever. Yeah. A charcuterie box.
I just thought that was so funny that I'm like, whoa, you're comfy. You're just popping your shoes off and killing us all with your foot stank, and now you want a second helping? It was funny. I mean, thank God it was only like a 6-hour flight.
Speaking of taking your shoes off, don't ever, ever, ever walk around in your socks on a plane and go to the bathroom. Because yeah. And so all those wet spots in the bathroom by the toilet, that ain't water. You know, men, especially if there's turbulence, men go to the bathroom and it's like they're just like, you know, shaking and dropping, and God, put your shoes on. Put your shoes on. I've seen people just walk in their socks up and down the aisles into the restroom, and I'm just like, oh, that is not water on the floor. Maybe if it's closer to the sink, but not by the toilet. That's not water.
No, I mean, and what if you step on something sharp? Like, I mean, it's one thing to, you know, kick your shoes off at your seat. Like, I always travel with like my Birkenstock clogs, and so I take my boots off on the plane, which don't stink, and I slip on my Birkenstock clogs if I need to get up and go somewhere. But like, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna walk around in socks in the plane, you might as well lick the carpet all the way up the aisle in the bathroom. I mean, it's like the same. It's like the same thing. It's so gross. Like, I mean, since COVID came around, we're definitely more cognizant of hands and germs and stuff like that. But oh my God, airplanes are disgusting for that. Yeah. So I mean, it's, you know, washing your hands is important and all that. But yeah, I hear you. You know, but I was on a flight once from Portland to, I was somewhere down to visit you. I don't know if it was Long Beach or John Wayne Airport, but it was one of those. I don't know that Alaska flies these planes a lot anymore. They're just a 2-2 configuration. I don't even know what kind of a plane that was, but they were fast and they handled the turbulence really well, which I found very interesting. But two things happened on this flight. I was there was one bathroom on the whole plane, and it was in the back. So I actually sat toward the back on an aisle seat because I pee. And this poor guy was airsick. And he was like, I thought he was going to chuck all over me because I was so close to the bathroom. But like, a flight attendant was following behind him, but her arm was in front of him, like with a hefty bag. Cause she's like, you know, if you're going to spew in this, and I'm not going to puke if I see someone else puking, but I imagine like he was just trying to get to the bathroom, and then he got himself sorted out. And then like, there was this one person that was sitting in front of me. They kept putting like the seat all the way back. And I was like, oh my God, let me just do dental work on you. And while I'm like dealing with that situation, someone comes out of the bathroom and walks up the entire length of the plane back to the front with like this 4-foot long thing of toilet paper on their shoe. And I'm like, this flight's really, there's no in-flight entertainment, but there is. It was so funny. But
oh my God.
Anyway, but yeah, I often think about, you know, you watch people on just traveling in general, and you can really tell people that are mindful versus people that are entitled.
Yeah.
And just like, you know, how they're behaving and stuff like that. It always cracks me up when an airplane, you know, it's when the airplane's like doing that last little like boop, boop, boop before it's at the gate, and they, you know, you hear the boom and everybody can get up, but you can already hear like the seatbelts unclicking. And then everybody stands up, and I'm like, you're not even going anywhere. Like, you're standing up to do what? Just make it worse for everybody. I'm like, just relax. Guys, I gotta go. I'm like, you're not going anywhere. You're blocked
just
in
hurry
by
up
like
and
150 people. Yeah, I know, but it's
hurry
like,
up and wait.
And everybody stands up. Oh my God.
I was on a flight recently. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I was on a flight recently.
You go ahead. I was done.
Oh, okay. I was on a flight recently coming back from Miami, and on my second plane, because of course I had to connect. The days of the nonstop flights are few and far between anymore. But I was connecting in Atlanta as per usual, and I fly Delta all the time. That's why. But that same thing happened. We pulled up to the gate, boom, everybody's like standing up, and I'm sitting toward the front of the plane because I got upgraded to Comfort Plus, hallelujah. But everybody stands up, pulls their luggage out. We're barely at the gate, right? And then all of a sudden the flight attendants come on and said, everybody go back to your seats. I mean, there are people that had already gotten up in the aisle and were walking toward the front of the plane. I mean, we'd been stopped for 5 seconds, right? And everybody has to take their stuff, everybody's pulling their stuff down out of the overhead bins, and everybody go back, sit down, take your stuff. And so therein lies the chaos, right? They've made it worse for everybody. There's some reason why they're making us go back to our seats. Even more delays because everybody and had to get up and pull their shit down from the overhead bin. Turns out there was an air marshal waiting to pull someone off the plane. And so everybody had to be seated. They had to get the air marshal with his, I don't know how much his vest weighed. I mean, it was kind of scary. I mean, he looked like a nice guy, but he comes on the plane, he gets the guy and, takes him off the plane. But it delayed disembarking by I don't know how long because everybody, boom, up. And then, nope, everybody sit back down, take your stuff. I saw because I was sitting toward the front, the door open and there's the air marshal. I'm like, oh, that's why, so, anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's like everybody just needs to take a chill pill. We will get off the plane. I know there's tight connections and all that, but the more you cram and rush, actually the longer it takes to get off the plane, so anyway. It's funny how people.
It's pretty amazing, just like observing human behavior on a gigantic metal tube that flies through the air. And here's one thing I do know: there's assholes all over the world. It's not like just concentrated in one area. Like assholes are everywhere.
Yep.
And I use my time on an airplane to use everything I know, all my mindfulness and, divine timing and kindness and patience and empathy for everything that's going on, because I hear how other people are interacting with each other, or, you see these horror stories on YouTube of people flying and how they're treating each other. And I get that you can be bored on a flight. And I mean, you don't and I don't drink alcohol anymore, really. But I can't understand why people slam liquor on a flight, especially one where you're going to have, those flights to Europe where you have 9 hours of jet lag. And it destroys. I don't know. It scares me that people do. It scares me that people drink before they fly. They drink while they fly. And then I don't know. I think it's unsafe to do that. I really do. I get it. I mean, especially sitting in the fancy class. I mean, do you want, a pre-drink with your dinner and then a drink and then an after drink? And I'm like, Jesus, I would be on the floor of the airplane if I was doing that. I'm like, water, can I have water and decaf, you know,
I know.
like
Yeah, me too.
ginger ale. Maybe if I get ginger ale. But I remember also years ago, same situation, Northwest Airlines flying to Amsterdam from Boston. And I was traveling with some friends that were just simply, we were all going to Amsterdam. We weren't traveling together. We were just all traveling to Amsterdam. That was their start off point. They were going backpacking. But there was like these group of like 3 to 5 like college age guys on the flight with us, and they were drunk more or less when they, I'm actually surprised they let them on the plane, but they drank the entire flight, which was almost 7 hours. And this is where karma comes into play. I love telling this story because we were all walking from the gate toward baggage claim. And if anybody listening has ever been to Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, that bitch is huge. That is the biggest airport outside of Atlanta that I've ever been in.
Yeah.
And certainly has heightened security. But anyway, these guys are like walking toward the baggage claim, and one of them yells, "Amsterdam's the bomb!" And out of nowhere comes like 8 agents, and they just yank them back.
He said the B word.
Like, oh. I'm like, what? Oh my God. That same type of thing happened flying down to see you years ago. My partner and I were flying down for a visit to Southern California, and somebody brought Taco Bell on the plane. Rude. Yeah, don't bring fast food on a plane. P.S.
Well, don't bring food that stinks, like tuna fish and
don't bring
ew.
I'm gonna bring Limburger cheese. Oh wait, that's your feet. But these guys brought. We were flying on. I think it was Alaska or Southwest. I think it was Alaska, and these guys had Taco Bell, and they just sat down. And the one guy goes, "Taco Bell's the bomb." Next thing I know, off the plane they go. I'm like, what is the matter with you people? You can't say the word bomb anywhere. You can't do that. You can't do that.
No.
Oh my God. But I think I mean, it's funny to watch. It's fun because the whole flight, those guys that were drunk that did that, and I was following them. It's like, have you ever like been driving and someone like goes past you and you're like, God, I wish there was a cop right now, and a cop like, I don't know where
Yeah.
comes and like you're like, yes, that's what this was like, because the whole flight they were so annoying. And they're walking through, one of the largest airports in Europe or the world or whatever. Americans like, hey, way to represent, drunk like, and then they're Amsterdam's a bomb, and then I'm like, oh, thank you, get them out of here, get them away.
Hopefully they learned something.
I doubt it. They probably pattered them. I don't know. Maybe they let them sober up, but I just like, I don't know. This podcast is funny because we're more or less like storytelling and stuff like that. But I think that a lot of people listening have had their own experiences of flying and, can relate to a lot of what we're saying. But this isn't about like how you should be a good flyer. Like, it's just like that whole thing. Like, don't do what would annoy you on a flight, and don't treat people how, you would want to be treated. I mean, treat people how you would want. Don't treat people how you, God, I can't think.
Elmer.
People how you would want to be treated. I mean, again, like nothing screams human behavior experiment like trapping people from all over the world on a gigantic metal tube for 9 hours. Like the giant hot dog in the sky. Here we go. And everybody like, let's all get along. Let's all be mindful. Like, I know your seat goes back 5 feet, but do you have to put it back 5 feet? Put it back like 2 feet.
And we all know that flying creates a gassy belly. You're going to get gassy. You're going to get gassy. So just don't eat eggs. Don't eat stuff like that create just horrible smelling farts before you get on a plane, because it seriously, I mean, it is actually a phenomenon where the air cap you get gassy because of air buildup in the abdomen from the ascending and the descending, that you get bloated with air for that reason. It's like a plastic water bottle, contracting and expanding and all that. It's the same thing, so the gas is inevitable. So just don't have something that's gonna, like, don't eat like steak or eggs, or don't have something that's gonna because it's hard to hold them in. It's hard to hold them in because it hurts. So just at least
And you
at least
you
be
see those
environmentally
people at the
friendly and
gate.
have clean gas. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Have greenhouse gas. You see those people at the gate. They have like the huge coffee and they're eating like McDonald's and egg McPoo-poo and all that. And then it's like, oh man, I hope you're not in, I hope you're nowhere near 11C because I'll see your farts later. It's like, no, it's
Oh
true. I
dear.
mean, it's
Oh dear.
the airplane food is bad enough with the
Yeah.
gas and, like you said, the natural order of things of going up and down. But like, yeah,
Flying has changed so much over the years. I mean, we all know it's not as easy as it used to be. If you're a Gen Xer or a boomer, it's not as easy as it used to be, and it certainly isn't as economical. I mean, they used to feed everybody would get a meal, like a real meal, and you look forward to that. You're kind of catered to. But now, no, I mean, it's like the freebie drinks, okay, and then you've got booze to purchase, and like Susie said, some people just keep purchasing and purchasing, and the wine stinks. I've been next to so many passengers that just keep belting the red wine, and it stinks. It's like floor polish, and it's so sour. It's just gross. Anyway, and then you've got your food for purchase, or you can have your Cheez-Its and Sun Chips, whatever they serve. And, it's just so different now. And everybody's a little more stressed out. Connections are tighter. Am I going to get my carry-on in a bin? It's just stressful. So everybody just needs, when you fly the next time, just take a deep breath and bring some of that whiskey chick mindfulness to yourself, when you fly. So
totally true. And remember that when you're on an airplane going somewhere, you all have the same goal. You all have the same goal. You're all trying to get somewhere together
and get there safely
without killing someone with your farts or
your booze breath,
gagging, or you're squealing children that can't help it. I don't know, but I mean, I know we're about to end this, but when you were talking about the food, I think Gen Xers will get this. There used to be the joke when they used to be called stewardesses, but when the flight attendants would come through with the meal and they go chicken or beef, chicken or beef, chicken or beef. That's all you would hear. You don't hear that anymore because it's like, I ordered a vegan, kosher, gluten-free meal.
That's in first class. I mean, the food cart comes through first. Food for purchase, food for purchase, food for purchase, food for purchase, food for purchase. And everybody, and then comes the drink cart with the Sun Chips and the little granola bars or whatever they've got going for that time of day. But in first class, yes, you get to chicken or beef, fish, or do you have a special request? But back in Comfort Plus and economy and main and all that, you have food for purchase, food for purchase, food for purchase. So, and if you do buy food before you get on the plane, please be mindful of what it's going to smell like when you pop that open on your tray table. Because I've been hit in the face, I don't know how many times, with just like, oh, do I really have to live with this the entire flight? So, yeah, think about it.
Yeah, don't heat up your cheesesteak hot pocket before you get off the plane and then open it up. What are you gonna pick?
Just no fish. Please. Eggs and fish.
Yeah, don't go to McDonald's and get a filet of fish sandwich. But anyway, that's so funny. I mean,
right.
you fly way more than I do, but like so you're food for purchase. That's really funny. But anywho, thanks for listening to our rant today. I think you more or less gave the homework because you were talking about the mindfulness when you fly.
Yeah, just but, here at Whiskey Chicks, we try to weave some mindfulness into everything. So next time you fly, think about that mindfulness. That's all.
Next time, how about next time you fly, try. Just try.
Oh my God, that was...
We're going to lose some listeners. I can feel it. Our ratings are going to drop.
What was that? Oh my God.
You're try to be mindful. Try it. So when you fly, just try. That's all you have to do. Just try.
Just try. It's all we can ask for. All right. We're done.
Yeah. All right. I know we're done. Okay. Everybody, thank you for being with us here today. Just little side note here. If you want to support our podcast in any way, you can go to our Buzzsprout website for the Whiskey Chicks podcast, and there's a support button there. All donations and contributions will go right back into the podcast. And also, we would love it if you would follow us on Instagram. We don't do Facebook.
On the IG.
Yeah, and we will see you on the next podcast. And we know what dear old Nana would say.
Be true to yourself.